Hello my friends and welcome to today's handstand workout. We'll be starting off with some wrist prep as always, then some shoulder opening, and then a series of handstand drills to improve your handstand line and also your freestanding hold time. So today we'll be starting off on our hands and knees and turning the palms out 90 degrees. Wrists are directly below the shoulders, and we are locking the forearms or the pits of the elbows forward and lifting up to that first knuckle while keeping a nice straight arm. And we're doing 10 of these heel raises with the fingers facing away. Halfway there, let's do 5 more. Really try to keep that weight over the hands. 2 to go. Last one. Beautiful. They're just terrific for strengthening and warming up the forearms. Okay, next one. We're turning the hands over now onto the backs of the hands. Again, turn the pits of the elbows forward. My shoulders are over my wrists, hands are around shoulder width apart, and we're doing a push-up in this position. Down, touch the head, and back up. 10 of these. So from the kneeling position, this is just a warm-up for the backs of the wrists. So we're not trying to build any giant chest muscles or anything from this. This is a wrist warm-up drill. 5 more. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can take some of the weight away by shifting more of the weight back into the knees. 3 to go. Last one. Beautiful. Next up, we have our standard heel raise. Fingers facing forward this time, similar to the fingers facing out heel raise we did. Leaning the shoulders slightly forward. The further forward the shoulders are, the harder this one gets. So if it's too hard to lift up to that first knuckle in the position you're at, just bring the shoulders back a little. And we're going for 10 of these. Give you a look from side on. 4, 5, keep those arms nice and straight. 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Okay, let's just give the wrists a little bit of a swivel here. Try to keep the elbows together, generate that movement from the wrists. Just warming up all those different angles that our hands get put through, especially these complex wrist bones when we're doing our handstands. The stronger we can make our hands and wrists, the easier our handstands become. Okay, that's it for our wrist prep. Let's open these shoulders. Time to open the shoulders. We'll be doing a 60-second passive hang. Now, if that's too long, that's okay. Just go for as long as you can. Hands are shoulder width apart, and we are just doing a dead hang, passive hang, letting everything just go loose. Great for just a little bit of traction through the spine, opening those shoulders up, followed by some shoulder dislocates with our dowel. So grab your broomstick, and again, very simple, a nice wide grip to start. Elevate the shoulders and keep a nice firm grip over to the back and back to the front. So we'll be doing 10 of those. And then we'll be doing our shoulder opening sequence on the ground in the kneeling position, reaching forward, praying to those handstand gods, and leaning in to this, chest to the floor, playing around with our hip position. And we'll just hang there for a little bit to try and get some active flexion through those shoulders and help open the thoracic a little bit. So we'll be doing 2 rounds of this. So 60 seconds on the clock for our passive hang. Like I say, if you need to come down, before then, that's okay, but really try to go the distance if you can. A nice strong grip, and just let things hang. Notice any tight spots. Let the shoulders drift up towards the ears, and just let that spine lengthen. Breathe into it. Feel yourself getting taller. Send awareness to any of the tight spots. Maybe that's your pecs. Maybe it's your ribs, or maybe even the lats, lower back. Keep breathing. Oh, I just had a nice little crack in my lower spine, which has felt so nice. 5 to go. Time. Beautiful. Grabbing our stick now, and we'll go for 10 of our dislocates. Now, the wider your grip is, the easier these are. So you want to find a width that's challenging but not impossible for you to get a full repetition. Avoid swaying with the ribs. Really try to lock in that neutral spine. Elevate through the shoulders and go over the back and back over. That's 1. 2. 3. You might get a nice stretch through the forearm, over the back. 4. I've got some sore fingers from jiu-jitsu this week, so try and be strict with your grip. I'm letting my fingers go a little loose on my left hand in case you can see that, because they're a bit sore today. Let's go for 3 more. 2 to go. 1 more. Beautiful. Okay, coming down now into our kneeling position for our kneeling shoulder opening work. You want to put the hands far forward, hips are directly over the knees. And what I'm doing is really pushing long through the shoulders, dropping the chest down. I've got an anterior tilt in my lower back. And now just hang here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now without coming up, send those hips into a posterior pelvic tilt. So tuck the butt under and now drive the chest down. Really push long and tall through the shoulders. Elevate those scaps for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And sink down a little bit lower again, allowing that anterior pelvic tilt once again. And time. Coming out of that nice and gentle. Just to open up our shoulders and our thoracic spine, which makes that straight line handstand just so much easier. Okay, that's 1 round. We're doing 2 rounds of this just to really open things up and loosen them up before we get into the substantial hand balancing work of the day. Finding your passive hang once again, grabbing the bar and have a hang. Just hanging out. Spending some time. This is probably one of the most valuable exercises you can do for your shoulders and spine. So simple. Just hanging. I think every house should be built with a hanging bar. Again, just let those shoulders drift up towards the ears. Keep breathing. Doing well. 15 seconds to go. You got this. Keep holding on for as long as you can. If you are down, that's okay, but hold on for as long as you possibly can. 3 to go. And time. Back to our dislocates. Grab your stick. I'll go side on this time so you can get a side on angle. Grab your preferred distance, neutral spine. Let's go up and over. 1, 2, 3. Really using our shoulders to generate the movement from the initial elevation, the tall shrug, to the back to front rotations. 3 to go. Two more. Last one. Beautiful. That's it for those. Now let's do our final set of floor kneeling shoulder openers. So again, you want those hips over the knees, walking the hands forward, up on the fingertips, and I am sinking down into this. I'm pushing tall through the shoulders, elevating through the scaps, sinking down with that anterior pelvic tilt for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now changing those hips to a posterior, tuck the bum under, and I'm driving the chest down towards the mat for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and sinking down into that stretch, nice, into an anterior pelvic tilt. Just hang here for a little bit, and time. Beautiful. That's shoulder opening done. Let's hit the wall for our first set of handstands. Alrighty, our first working set for our handstands today is a baby tuck using the wall. This is another shoulder opener, and then we'll be doing a pec opening stretch on the floor. So this is what the baby tuck looks like. We find ourselves in our handstand position, some distance from the wall. I'm putting toes to the wall, collapsing the knees to the wall, and then I'm pushing as tall as I can and sending my chest through and towards the wall. And this is just opening up through the backs of my shoulders and the thoracic spine. To come down, we reverse that position gently off the wall. From there, we'll be moving into our pec opener. So for this one, we're getting down on the floor. One arm is at 90 degrees on the ground, and I'm turning the opposite way with the head, driving that shoulder into the ground, and then back stepping the foot over so that I'm getting that pec stretch through the working pec here. So again, things that can limit our handstands are our ability to create flexion through the shoulder, tightness through the T-spine, the thoracic area, and also really tight pecs can keep you in that closed shoulder position. So if you're anything like me, these are terrific drills to do at the start of the session just to create a bit more freedom and space for the straight line handstand, which we're going to work on at the end of this session. Okay, 2 rounds of this. So we're going to go for around 30 seconds in this baby tuck position. I apologize, it's not overly pleasant. However, we need to do this to create some space in those tight spots. So up we go. Get yourself into position, like I say, not too close, but not too far away. Toes against the wall, push really tall, collapse the knees into the wall, and now look through and look to extend the chest towards the wall. You can even touch the nose on the wall if you're that far through. Holding here. Another 5 seconds. And time. Coming down nice and gentle. So this is all just priming the shoulders as well for our handstands. Straight into our pec opener. So down we go. right angle with the working arm. Use the other arm to push into the floor, back stepping the opposite leg to the working arm. Drive that shoulder into the floor and play around with the pressure in the elbow instead of the hand, and you might find that gets into the chest just a little nicer. We'll hang here for another 10 seconds. Look towards the ceiling if you can. 5 to go. And time. Let's go to the other side now. Right angles with that other arm. Drive the shoulder into the floor. Back stepping with the top leg, looking up towards the ceiling. Again, play around with the pressure. If it's in the hand, send it down to the elbow. And looking up at the ceiling. Just terrific stretch through that hip flexor. You might be feeling it down through the hip as well as the pec. And just some rotation through the spine as well. Just stick with it for another 10 seconds. Keep breathing. And 3, 2, 1. Releasing. Beautiful. Shake it out. And then we'll get ready for another baby tuck on the wall. So once again, the distance you choose from the wall will really determine how deep you can go with your baby tuck. If you're too close, you might find you can't get enough of a stretch, too far away, and it might just be a difficult shape to hold for the time. So again, a lot of this is just experimentation, depending on your limb lengths and your own biomechanics. So let's get ready for our baby tuck. Up we go, reversing into the wall. Okay, toes against the wall, pushing nice and tall. Collapse the knees to the wall. Really keep that elevation. Head goes through, chest through. Try to keep those elbows straight. Another 10 seconds here. Really push tall, push away from the ground. 3, 2, 1. And coming down. Beautiful. Let's go into our pec opener. So, get that arm set up in the right angle shape and back stepping over. Head goes towards the ceiling, using the other arm to push ourselves into position, driving that working shoulder into the ground and shifting the weight down into the elbow just so that that stretch is coming through the pec. Really opening those pecs up. Another 10 seconds here. Push the ground away from you. And 3, 2, 1. Let's go to the other side now. Getting that hand set up in our right angle. Driving that shoulder towards the floor. Back stepping that top leg over. Pushing that shoulder into the ground. Using the supporting arm as leverage. Turning the head up towards the ceiling. Try shifting the weight of the floor through the elbow. Push down with pressure through there just to open up that pec stretch. Keep breathing. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Releasing. Okay. That's it for our first section of this workout. Let's get into section number 2. Section number 2 of today's handstand workout is all about the scissor kick up. Now, I know a lot of people really struggle to kick up when they're learning handstands. So this is a drill specifically working on the kick up. So let's just go through the key cues of what makes a good handstand kick up. So I've got my hands at my comfortable width, which for me is around shoulder width or just slightly wider. I like to sort of tent the fingers through that middle knuckle. And then what I like to do is put the shoulders over the wrists so they're already fairly stacked. Now, I've got this kind of runner's takeoff position with the feet. And what I like to do is I like to kick up with my right leg and my left foot forward. So this is just the most comfortable kick up for me. What I want to do today is focus on the scissor hold at the top, which is a kick up like that, and see if we can catch it in the top position with the feet still scissored and down. Maybe you're not at the point where you're holding it for that length of time, but the goal is with 10 reps here to see if we can just find that balance point in the middle before we bring the feet together. So I want you to get used to pausing there in that top position. So we're going to go for 10 of these. I just want you to kick up and try and find that balance point. Now, if you need to come out, what will happen is you need to adjust your hand and cartwheel forward out like that. Do not roll or try to turn it into a commando roll because that just builds bad habits. What we want to do is learn to bail safely, which is just adjust one of the hands and step out softly. So soft feet are the key. So let's do a couple more together. Once again, shoulders are over the wrists. I'm pushing the floor away and I'm looking between my hands with my line of vision. I kick the top leg up and I try to keep that V in the legs. Like so. You might start finding balance in the middle. Now, why this is important is because what happens when people are learning handstand, they're in a rush to close the legs together. But what really helps you own the balance point is taking your time, slowing it down, working with this scissor V position first. When you have the balance, then I close the feet together. And you have your handstand. So, something to keep in mind. We're going to do another round of this right after we do a stretch. So, the mobility stretch we're doing in between these scissor kick ups is using a small weight, if you have one. Doesn't have to be very heavy at all. Again, we're focusing on some rotation of the spine. So with this one, we are reaching through with that shoulder on the ground, and this top arm is coming back and over, and we're getting a lovely stretch through the core and that top pec. I'm going to hang here, and I'm trying to stare at the ceiling. I'm staying on my active toes and knees for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's go to the other side. So, reaching through as far as we can. Top arm goes up and over. And then I'm going to hang here. Just let the weight do the work. Pulling me open. You might feel that through the bicep, the front delt. Keep breathing into it. We'll hang here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and coming out safely. Time. Hopefully I didn't bump that mic and make it all staticky like I did in the earlier workout. Okay. Shake it off. We're going to do another round of those kick ups. Now on this one, if you happen to find your balance, see if you can close the feet and then deliberately fall and go again. If you just want to stick with the V, scissor kick up, do that. I want to see at least 10 efforts because what we need to get good at is really owning the entry into the handstand. So find your preferred takeoff position with the feet. Remember, shoulders are stacked over the wrists. I'm looking between my hands and I am kicking up with that top leg, finding my scissor. Might take you a few goes to find your balance point, and that's okay. If you do find it, feel free to close the legs if you want, and then come back down. We're going for 10 efforts in your own time. Couple more. 2 more. 1 more. And time. Okay, so you might not be exactly in sync with me. Everybody's going to be a bit different there depending on your float time. So feel free to pause the video if you need and make those good quality, because that you get so much benefit out of having time entering your handstand and feeling comfortable when it is time to bring the feet together. You don't have to panic, you don't have to rush. Okay, let's do our thoracic loaded stretch again. So setting up, really reaching through, up and over, active toes, breathing into this one. See if we can get a little more out of this time. It's a lovely decompression through the spine. Let's go for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Okay. Gently coming out of that. Let's do the other side. So reaching the other arm through, trying to get the backs of the shoulder on the ground, and I'm using my weight, my counterweight, to create that rotation. Trying to look at the ceiling here. I'm just breathing into this, letting the weight do its thing. Think of a wet tea towel and you're wringing the water out of it. Keep breathing. Another 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly coming out of that. Okay, that's it for section 2. Let's get into section 3. Okay, guys, section 3 of today's workout are toe pulls. You'll need a wall for this, and then a pigeon stretch. So I recommend having a pillow, or I've got a foam block here, works great as well. So let me explain the concept of the toe pull. Another problem that people have with their handstand is not being able to save when they're falling. So what we need to develop is the ability to make micro adjustments when we're upside down. This exercise helps learn a correction for balancing if we're about to overbalance. So I'll just demonstrate what I mean by that. So what you want to do is work your way up the wall, get yourself in, but not too close, but not too far away. The toes go on the wall. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to planche my shoulders forward until my toes come off the wall, and then I send my shoulders back towards the wall to be straight, and then I collapse back to the wall. So I planche, my toes come off, I find my middle point,
and back down. I planche forward, my toes come off, I find my middle point, and back down.
So this is just practicing that top position, and it creates a save for us so that when we go to overbalance or underbalance, we can make some adjustments. So this is the toe side save. After that, I want you to do a pigeon stretch because it's just so good. Use your pillow or your block underneath the butt. We're squaring off the hips and keeping those toes active at the back. And then we're doing a forward fold. You can use your hands for support. If you're up to it, take the hands away like so. We're gonna do 10 folds and then we're gonna hang out for 10 seconds on the final rep. Just to really open up those glutes, keep giving those hips some love. Okay, so we're gonna go for 5 of our toe pulls. Let's get into it. We've got 2 rounds of this stuff. So up we go. Getting close to the wall. Toes are against the wall. Shoulders come forward and up. Find your spot and back down. Shoulders forward, up. Find your spot, back to the wall. That's 2. 3. 4. One more. 5. Now, if you need to come down because that's just too much, that's okay. You can break these up into a cluster set. So do a few, come down. Do a few and come down. Pause the video if you need. That's quite okay. Okay, let's have a go of our pigeon stretch. So getting the pillow or the block under that glute, squaring off the front leg, keeping that back leg square as well through the hips, active toes. We're going for 10 of these folds. If you can, take the hands away and you want a bit more load through that front glute, you can, but otherwise you can spot yourself up, chest proud, keep that lower back nice and straight. Avoid rounding, just to get a little bit more of a stretch. Let's go 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And somebody's doing a massive burnout outside, so I hope you heard that. I didn't see what kind of car it was, but it sounded like a pretty cool one. Okay, other side now. Getting that support under the glute. Really stay active through that back foot. Keep those hips square. Folding. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and be light on the fingers if you are using them for a spot. 5, 6, 7, 3 more. 8, 9, 1 more. 10. Now, I think I forgot this on the last one because of the burnout, but that's okay. We're going to have a little stretch here in this position for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay. So 1 more set of toe pulls, 1 more set of pigeons, and then we're going to finish with some freestanding attempts. Okay, 5 of these. In your own time, if you can't do them all consecutively, that's okay. Break them up. Here we go. Toes against the wall, shoulders come forward, I planche forward, find my spot, return to the wall. 2, 3, 4, last one, 5, Beautiful. You might start to feel that balance point revealing itself to you. Bear in mind, this all takes a really long time to really own. So if you're feeling frustrated or it's really hard, that's okay, because everybody feels like that. And it's still hard for me too. So we're all still trying to refine these little pieces of the handstand, whether it's your kick up, whether it's your middle balance point, whether it's how you say from toe side, heel side. That's the beauty of this game. It isn't easy. There's a lot going on. It's quite complicated. Okay, let's get our next pigeon stretch set up. So we've got that block or the pillow under the butt, squaring those hips off. Use the hands for support if you need, and fold. 1, 2. This is terrific if you get a sore lower back. 3, 4. Stay light on those hands, square through the hips. Let's go for 3 more. Nice straight spine, chest proud. 2, 1. Hands go forward, and let's hang here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's switch to the other side. And we're nearly there, guys. You're all doing very well, I can tell. I can tell. Okay, squaring that front shin off. Hips are square, my back toes are active. I've got that support under the butt I need. And folding forward. 1, 2, 3. Stay light through the fingers. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. Walking the hands forward. Hanging here in this stretch for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Okay. That's it for all of our working sets. Now, let's have a play with some freestanding handstands. Finishing up with your best 10 efforts of a freestanding handstand. I'd like you to start in the middle of the room, no matter where you're at. And if you're just not sticking any, finish on the wall with a wall-assisted entry. So that can look a bit like this. Let me just turn you over. If you are using the wall for assistance, you can go a distance out from the wall and we can kick up until we find our balance point and then try to find the middle from there. So that is an option, but I'd really like it if you tried out in the front of the room, because this is where the magic happens and there's no getting around the fact that at some point you have to get out here after doing that structural work, building the foundations and just going for it. So we're going to give, this is going to be done in your own time, and I want you to give 10 of your best efforts and record your hold times and try to challenge yourself each week to get another 3 to 5 seconds past your PB. And that's just, you're not going to do that every time, but it's just a good goal to strive for. So remember our cues, our setup. Hands in that comfortable, just a little past shoulder width distance for me, but whatever works for you. Shoulders over the wrists. I like this runner's setup with the kick. I'm looking between my fingers, scissoring up, finding my balance, and then closing my legs. Now I'm starting to make my adjustments, pushing a little taller through the shoulders, trying to find my line and improve it a little bit. Maybe drop the head a little bit. I'm just trying to balance here between my fingers and the heels of my hands. And I'm holding for as long as I possibly can. So the goal here is to build you right up to 60 seconds and beyond. That can take some time, considerable time, years. But each week, let's set a goal. So if you're just trying to get your first 5 seconds, make that your target. If you're crashing through the 5 seconds, aim for 10. If you're getting through that, 20, and so on and so forth. 10 of your best efforts, write them down, film yourself, share your videos with me, and I'll see you in the next workout.